I can't believe that 20 years ago today, March 7th, 2002, I arrived in Ukraine on my very first missions trip overseas. At the time, I was the director of women's ministries for the District of Quebec of the Pentecostal Assemblies of Canada, and I had planned a special missions trip for 8 women from different churches across our province. We held a women's conference. Over 200 women attended on the Saturday, March 9th. We had a wonderful time with the ladies, especially at the altar where we were able to pray with them and minister to them. The next day, Sunday, March 10th, we were at a village house church. We were greeted in a very special, traditional, and significant way where the women came out to greet us with a loaf of bread and salt on top, and it was lying on a beautiful embroidered runner. They were crying as they greeted us because we were the first foreigners to come to their village, as this was not possible under communism. The following week, we were at an orphanage for girls that desperately needed renovation. We were given the task of renovating 2 rooms at the infirmary. We stripped old wallpaper, patched up holes in the wall, replaced the wallpaper with something that the children would really like. And the wallpaper had little white stars in it, and they would glow in the dark. And we were told after we left that some of the children would pretend to be sick because they wanted to go to be in that room to experience the stars lighting up at night that would glow. We got to know some of the workers in the orphanage. They were so touched by our presence, especially when we gave them gifts. They cried as they said no one had ever expressed any appreciation for the work that they were doing with these children. The doctor and the nurse of the orphanage were also touched by our generosity, especially when we gave the doctor his very own stethoscope. We also left money for the washroom to be renovated, as it had 1 sink with just cold water tap and a toilet that was rusted and had no seat to it. Pictures were sent to us from the missionary once the renovation had been completed, and what a difference. There were showers installed and a big hot water tank, and there were new toilets and sinks. Our presence and generosity in the village of Nova Barova opened the door for the young village pastor to be able to go into the orphanage and minister to the workers. And it also caused his church to grow as it sparked interest in the gospel. On our last Sunday, we were able to minister in the church in Coruscant, where we had held the women's conference the Saturday before. It was sad to leave our newfound friends, wondering if we would ever meet them again. I say all this because my heart is deeply troubled and aching for the people of Ukraine. This senseless war that Russia is waging is destroying Ukraine and what they have built since the wall of communism fell in 1991 in Ukraine. This morning, I was told that Coruscant has come under attack with a missile strike that destroyed many homes, including the death of civilians. Pray with me that this war will soon be over, that there will be divine intervention by God. Pray that the Russian army will experience mechanical difficulties and equipment failure and will retreat back to Russia and Belarus. It has happened in the past. There's a story in 2 Kings 19 and verses 6 and 7. Isaiah tells King Hezekiah's officials in regards to the Assyrians' threats to Judah, "Tell your master, this is what the Lord says. Do not be afraid of what you have heard. Those words with which the underlings of the king of Assyria have blasphemed me. Listen, I am going to put such a spirit in him that when he hears a certain report, he will return to his own country, and there I will have him cut down with the sword." If you continue to read the chapter, that night the angel of the Lord came and put to death 1,000 soldiers in the Assyrian camp. And when Sennacherib, king of Assyria, heard the report, he packed up and left and returned home, only to be murdered by his own 2 sons. For those of you listening to me today, God is more than able to bring victory in this desperate situation. Pray to that end. This killing of innocent civilians and the destruction of their homeland needs to stop. Our God is more than able.